Thanks a lot for coming out to the State House lawn today. So I'll start things out here. I'm really excited and honored to kick off what I think is going to be a kicking campaign to elect to the state Senate Jared Duval. So when I first was a candidate in 2018, the first people to volunteer for the campaign and say, what can they do to help and can I have a house party, was Joan and Jared. And they gave me a lot of support in having that first house party and honing my stump speech and introducing me to new folks. So I really appreciated that work. And one of the things that I remember most about that time and the house party and leading up to it is learning more about Jared. I worked with Jared in state government in a couple different formats, but I didn't know a lot about his background. And when I heard more about his background and what he kind of saw for our communities, I thought, Jared should be the candidate. It's like, this is the guy that should be running for state Senate. So I'm glad that 4 years later that is coming true. Because I think Jared is the quintessential utility player. I know he likes baseball. I don't try to avoid sports metaphors too much, but it really fits in this case. And that's what we need in the Senate. We need somebody that can fill a whole bunch of different roles, because especially in the Senate, when you're working on all these different issues in two committees, you need somebody that can fill all these different roles. And so I got 5 different roles or qualities of Jared I think would make a great state senator. So he's a deep compassion and understanding of the economic struggles that Vermonters are facing, and he has this from a lived experience. And I think it's only through a lived experience that you can have this kind of deep level of understanding of what some folks in Vermont are struggling for. And as you approach new policies, to have that kind of background and understanding is really going to serve the constituents of the state very well. He has this deep commitment to improving the lives of Vermonters, especially the working class, and he cares deeply about persistently crafting effective public policy. Also, so similar to that, he's a dedicated husband and father, and I think as we work with issues to support young families in Vermont and things like child care, it's important to have that experience and what it is like to try to find child care and just work in building a family in Vermont. Second, he is wicked smart and intelligent. He's an accomplished policy expert, and I would call it affectionately a policy wonk. And that's very helpful to be able to dig into the policy issues when we're working in this issue, in this building. And he has experience developing these policies based on the science and facts, and also by listening to Vermonters. But I think very importantly, in addition to just being smart on policy and having a background in the academics and understanding good policy, he has what I'd call just a stereotypical Vermonter's common sense. And he is good about balancing that common sense with what good policy and what the difference is between what might be academically on paper a perfect policy and what kind of how that policy affects folks on the dirt roads and back farms of Vermont. And that is going to be very valuable in the Senate. Fourth, he understands the details of economic development and the environmental imperatives and how they need not be mutually exclusive. This is something that he and I have worked on closely in the Clean Energy Development Fund and when he's with the Working Lands Enterprise Board, that how we can meet both these goals for the state, that we have economic development, we create new jobs, we support young workers, but we're doing so to meet our other goals, that we're supporting families, we're making progress on getting rid of fossil fuels and our climate change policies. Jared is perfectly situated to bring these two policy goals together. And I think last of those 5 things I wanted to mention is that he's a dedicated workhorse. And workhorse is one of the terms that he used, but I've just seen the amount of energy and just kind of work product that he can create, and that's something that's extremely important in the Senate when you're kind of overloaded with options and work, and how you get all the work done and do so in a way that's effective and positive for the folks of Vermont is something that Jared is going to be able to do, and I'm really looking forward to working with him in the State House on that and seeing the kind of work that he can do. Other thing I wanted to say, as some of you might know, is I'm hoping to transition or fill some kind of leadership role in the state Senate next year. Thank you. And as I look ahead at the legislature and what the composition is going to be, I see a really need for this utility player. Somebody that has Jared's skills is going to be very essential. So here in Washington County, or this district, we're having Anthony Polina retire, which is big shoes to fill, but I think it are shoes that Jared can fill. And it's important that we find somebody to fill those shoes. But we're also losing, but they're retiring. I don't want to make it seem like they're gone forever. But in the House, I saw Sarah Kobolans is here, a climate leader that is moving on, hopefully, to other positions. But here in the Senate, we're specifically Chris Pearson, who's somebody that I worked with a lot on climate issues and on working class issues, where he's moving on. Also, Senator Sirotkin has been really good on union issues and class issues, and how we combine those with good economic development policy and affordable housing policy. But we're also having Senator Ram Hinsdale move on, and Senator Ballant, who are also key allies and policy folks on this overlapping of class issues or how to support working Vermonters, as well as moving forward on our climate issues. So Jared is needed there to kind of fill these roles. And I know Jared's commitment and effectiveness firsthand by working with him. As I said, the last 6 years, he was the co-chair of the Clean Energy Development Board. And as I said, not only have I seen his skills as a policy expert, but just how he works together with others and those that might disagree, and how he can do effective listening and build coalitions, both at the Clean Energy Development Fund, but in the smaller group, but statewide at the Energy Action Network. So Jared's devotion and ability to contribute meaningfully in these ways as a new senator will be something he could do starting on day one. He has proven from his time as Economic Development Director for Vermont's working lands and green economy sectors to his recent service on the Vermont Climate Council, Jared is a determined workhorse who focuses on facts and evidence and working from a place of empathy, humility, collaboration, and civility. The Senate will benefit greatly from a dedicated senator like Jared Duval. And in closing, I'll just say it will be a tremendous to have him as a partner and actively working to listen and serve the residents of the 18 towns and 2 cities of Washington County, but also Stowe, Orange, and Braintree. I really look forward to getting around to these towns with Jared, and I hope you will join me in giving Jared one of your 3 votes for State Senate. I'll turn it now over to Joan, or Kathleen. Thanks.
Thank you, Andy.